Hello, welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. I'm a movie yapper type person, and I used to write about them. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's Pictures podcast.
Yowza! That was a yowza. I thought I'd do a yowza today.
Yowza.
Yowza! Well, ladies and gentlemen, this week we are talking about a movie. But before we do that, I want to tell you, over on Ye Old Patreon, we are talking about Ye Old Cape Fear from 1962 because, as Evan informed me, and which I later watched the trailer for, there is a new Cape Fear on one of the streaming services, Apple, Hulu, question mark?
Apple TV.
Apple TV, starring Javier Bardem, if I recall correctly.
Yep. Amy Adams and Patrick Wilson, I believe, are also in it.
That is a good cast. I like Patrick Wilson and I like Javier Bardem. I go back and forth on Amy Adams. It's a performance by performance thing for me with her.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. And so anyway, that is over on Patreon. If you are a patron, please check it out. If you're not a patron, please consider becoming one. And while we are speaking of patrons, I want to say thank you to our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
All right. Getting down to the old brass tacks. This week, I don't remember what Evan's suggestion was to watch this week, but I was like, nah, let's watch this Shudder original horror movie that's coming out today. And that movie is The Voices of Our Mother. And now this is written and directed by Mark O'Brien, who I recognized, but I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And it turns out he's the shitty husband in Ready or Not.
Yes.
So that's where I know him from. He explodes at the end of that, just like all the other characters who survive until dawn who aren't Samara Weaving.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is, I think he's got a peccadillo about the religious whatevers because he's directed lots of shorts and one other feature. And the other feature is also when a priest and a cat go investigate sex crime with a demon, they turn into mice. You know, it's very strange.
What?
I just made that up. I made that up, obviously. But what I'm saying is I think he likes to do movies about the religious stuff, the exorcist kind of angle, etc. And that's what this is. This is The Voices of Our Mother, written and directed by Mr. O'Brien. And here is your one sentence IMDb summary. When a family matriarch becomes seriously ill, her four estranged siblings, well, who the fuck wrote that? Not her four estranged siblings, her four estranged children.
Yes.
Return home to determine whether she has dementia or is possessed by evil forces. That's not true at all. They don't return home to see whether has dementia or is possessed by evil forces. They learn she is possessed by evil forces.
Right.
Who fucking wrote this?
And the doctor that's like overseeing it's kind of like, it might be dementia. Probably not, but it might be.
Yeah. I mean, this it's bizarre because it's got this hard gothic horror streak, like right down to the gargoyles and whatnot. But it's also
and the titles, like the
titles
cards are like these like old style like calligraphy font.
Yeah. The kind you would find on a religious text or in church or whatever. And one of the siblings, it's hard to tell who's like, do the ages go, the twins are the oldest and then the nun and then the drug addict? Not that it really matters, but I think that's right?
I think you're right about that.
Yeah. Because the older brother, who is one of the twins, is always talking about like, I did all this for you and I paid for all this for you. And it's like, well, how did you pay for all that for them? Because like you all left home because your mother was like stood by while your dad like beat the shit out of you and did nothing. And as it turns out, I mean, I have to give them credit for this backstory because I have never heard this in a horror movie. So what happens is the movie opens with grandma living with the mom, the mother of these 4 children. And grandma is so old. And are they just at mass, or are they at a funeral? I don't remember. They're
they
at
go
church.
to mass, I think. And the mom is like all banged up. Like
she's like
got
fallen
like a cast
and
on her wrist. She's got like a black eye.
Yeah. And so then they come back home and mom, okay, this is how it's going to, this is what the kids refer to. They refer to grandmother as grandmother. They refer to mother as mother. And a couple of times the brothers even refer to each other as brother, although that's more of a, like, I'm digging at you because you're not supposed to be acting this way because you're my brother. That's the intention behind it. But still, it's a thing. So anyway, here's your backstory. So, grandma goes to sleep with mom because she has a horrible nightmare, and then grandma dies in her sleep. And then the kids have to come and collect their mother, who has managed to, it's like she had a stroke because she can't really walk, but she kind of can. She can't really speak, but she kind of can. She manages to pick up the phone and dial 911, and then she just screams into the phone, which I have to say, I kind of liked that. I was like, well, at least give this movie some credit for sticking to, its fucking weirdness. Although it does, like lots of horror movies, chicken out at the end. But here's the backstory. Okay, so the movie opens with Annika, who is the third born, because the first 2 are twins. So they technically are first and second born, because twins aren't born at the same time, which I think a lot of young people, meaning elementary school children, probably don't know. And if you're in elementary school listening to this, you shouldn't. So anyway.
Tell your mommy, daddy, hit the pause button.
Yeah. Annika's reading the Bible like nuns do, I guess. And she has this nightmare that there's like a demon coming to get her, and then the house is on fire, and she picks up a gun, but there's no bullets in the gun, and it turns out it's a dream. And what happened is that actually happened. Now, I don't know. This is strange to me. This is something that actually happened to grandmother. Grandmother used to be a Satan-worshiping heretic, the movie explains. And then she became a devout Catholic somehow. And Satan didn't like that. So he came to the house. And I think that mom had adopted a baby already. And Satan said, if you're not going to return to me, I'm going to take your baby. And he possesses the baby, who is mom. And then grandma has to spend the rest of her life keeping Satan from manifesting in this baby, which turns out to be the mother. And then it's not quite a perfect arrangement because she has just enough power in there, mom that is, so that when Satan has just enough power inside mom so that when mom gets married later in life, the husband, who a priest in the movie helpfully explains, was once a good God-fearing man, like the Satan power started to overtake him and he abused the children, and they all left when they were of age because they were like, fuck these people, because mom just stood by and watched it and didn't do anything. But it turns out grandma was like trying to keep Satan from taking over her. Did I get that right? Is that everything?
I think that's the correct explanation for it's a little murky in places. And also Martin, the drug addict's son, apparently shot and killed their father, but somehow nobody knows that. I don't quite understand how that wouldn't have come to light at some point.
Well,
through some type of like police investigation or something. Right.
The older brother and sister seem to know. But they didn't tell the nun sister, because why would you tell a nun such a thing? Although
it seems like they goaded the younger brother into doing that.
It does. And I also have to say, if you told a nun that in church, I don't think she can tell anyone. You know? I mean, I don't know if it's like the same as when you go to confession and a priest can't go to the police and be like, this guy, killed and barbecued 43 Shriners. I don't think that it's like that. I don't know, though. I don't know my Catholicism that well.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a whole bunch of gothic shit that happens. And mom starts becoming more demon-like this gargoyle on top of this church. Now, I have got to say, in the United States, even on old churches, I don't think I ever remember seeing a lot of gargoyles on Catholic churches. You see it in Europe, you certainly do. But in Connecticut?
Yeah, not sure. And if there are, they're definitely not as large as this one is.
This one is...
It's like comically large.
This one is enormous, and it looks at mom, and it doesn't wink or anything, but it's just, it would be so awesome if it winked. But it just looks at mom, and she's like, bleh! And then I guess that's supposed to be the signal that the demon is, not demon, that Satan, it's actually Satan, right? Isn't it? Like, they're like, this is Satan. This is not just like some fucking demon. You know, like,
I guess so. Yeah.
What's his face from The Exorcist?
Mm-hmm.
So then mom starts doing weird shit. Like, she wakes up one night and she's just sitting in the windowsill with the window open. And she starts
out the window.
Well, she starts telling the kids, I know about the shit you did. I know you killed your father. I know you did this. And it's like, now, does Satan know everything the way God knows everything? Like, if you shoot your father to death in the basement and Satan is like having a beer at the corner pub, is he like, someone shot someone's father? I felt that.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
These are the questions I was asking myself.
Does he know when you're awake?
Yeah. I mean, there's no demon on the shelf, is there? You know. So they put mom. Oh, then she jumps out the window. And then they can't find her. And then they go looking around the town for her. And I guess the church must be pretty close to the house, because when Annika finds mom at the church, she turns and screams for her brother. And her brother acts like he's like not that far away, but the house seems like it's kind of isolated. A, very big. B, kind of isolated. So, not sure how I feel about the geography of this movie.
Yep.
And then they decide, because mom's face is all fucked up. And I think the thing you're supposed to think is, oh, she banged up her face when she jumped out the window. But what it actually is it's the demon starting to take over her. I keep saying demon. Right. Satan. So they build this. It
doesn't matter.
I know. The boys build this thing and trap mom in the basement. And of course, they don't keep any lights on back there. Like, why doesn't anybody turn on a light? Let Satan take the light bulb out himself, you know? Because when the local priest goes to talk to Annika and to talk to mom and take her confession, she's like, hey, I'm not mom. I'm fucking Satan. And then she lays out the entire story. I think Satan does. I think Satan lays out the entire story, right? Isn't it Satan who does the backstory?
I don't remember. How bad is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's not great. I don't know if that says it's a bad movie or if we have to take away your press pass. I mean,
I'm just going to come out and say it. I was bored to tears watching this movie. I found it so inert and so boring. And I'm just like, how does that happen? How do you make a horror movie that's this inert and this boring?
I did not find it boring. I'll have you know. And the reason I know that is because I was watching it yesterday. I think I watched it yesterday. I was watching it and I had to watch it on my computer because I didn't feel like hooking up all the shit to the TV that you have to do from your laptop to get the... So I'm watching it on my big computer monitor. And I'm like, God, I found like, what's going on here? Like, I don't feel like not a lot has happened. But I was half hour into it and I was like, oh, so things have happened. And then it kind of went quickly for me. And I don't know if that's because I tricked myself into, thinking that it was going faster. But I did not think this was boring. I didn't think it was good, but I didn't think it was boring.
Yeah. I had the opposite problem. I think I paused and was like, how is there still 40 minutes left of this? I feel like nothing's happening.
The siblings who aren't the nun do a lot of screaming at each other.
There's a lot of sibling rivalry and fighting and like shit I just don't care about. Like interpersonal shit that I just don't care about.
Also, I think this movie makes a mistake, and I don't know if this is poor screenwriting or if this is a screenwriting choice, but if it's a screenwriting choice, it's a bad choice. They make the decision to talk about characters we never meet as if we know who they are. And later, they'll be like, I'm making it. There's nobody in this called Martha, I don't think. Martha, my wife. But they've only called her like Martha the 16 times they mentioned her before. And it's like, oh, his wife. I don't know his wife's name. We know that the twin sister, fraternal twins, we know that her wife killed herself because her first love was the twin brother. Right. And then the sister swooped in and took her away. And then she and the brother started having an affair. And she wanted him to leave his wife. And he was like, no, I can't do that. So she bought some drugs from the younger brother and OD'd on purpose. Yeah. Which is kind of convoluted, I have to say.
Kind of convoluted. Absolutely.
It's a little... I mean, it would be a lot easier to follow if you took out one of those steps. If you took out, bought drugs from the brother and just hanged self in the shower, that would be easier.
Right. Because it's, like the twin sister is like blaming both the brothers, and they're like arguing about ultimately whose fault it was that she died.
Yeah. And then the thing that's strange about the nun sister is I feel like in movies like this, a lot of times we learn why you joined the order or whatever. And you don't ever learn why Annika joined the church. I'm guessing it was because grandmother was just like super into Jesus and was a Catholic. And although the Catholics don't talk about Jesus nearly as much as they do Mary. Right. But anyway.
And Annika's part of some weird order of nuns I've like never heard of that wear these like blood red like habits.
Yeah.
Like black veils.
Oh, that's right. Did you go to Catholic school or was it just...
Yeah.
It was Catholic school. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what this is. It didn't seem like an order of nuns or something that exists or is anything I'd heard of before.
Right, but it also doesn't seem to be like a weird sect. It's just they wear these habits like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's not necessarily anything else that was weird that I noticed about it other than the like Annika, the character, and her family is weird.
Annika's a little weird too because she's mostly silent until her character needs to speak for the screenplay to move forward. And it turns out that grandma had said, hey, so years ago I made this deal with Satan that I refused to... Actually, I didn't make a deal with Satan. I left Satan because I didn't like his horny penis. And I decided to follow God because I liked his smooth, godly penis. And then I had a baby that I adopted. And then Satan was like, I'm sorry, that's my baby, and possessed the baby. And I have kept Satan from taking over the baby forever. And I'm going to die soon. And so nun, granddaughter, you please do that for me. And Annika, because I guess she's not a good Catholic, is like, no, grandma, fuck you. I'm going back to the convent. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. I mean all the kids in this hate their mom so much, and they're just like, why do I even have to be bothered with this? Like, lady, can't we just like stick her somewhere and just like be done with the whole thing?
I have to say, I understand where they're coming from when you learn more about their childhood. But
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't blame them for how they're feeling. That's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so everything's kind of murky. I mean, I did say earlier that I've never heard this as a reason someone is possessed or whatever in a horror movie. But at the same time, I'm still not sure it's a very good idea. I mean, Satan doesn't have better things to do other than like, who's guarding, the ninth gate? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it really hangs together. I mean, like, also, we didn't even cover the fact that like everybody ends up dead except for Annika and the mom, who is now fully transformed into Satan and is like, I don't know, breathing fire or sets the house on fire and is like ready to attack her. And then she ends up praying the Satan away or something?
Yeah, she said that the priest gets a letter from grandma that apparently takes forever to get to him. And he does say she apparently sent this before she died. I'm like, well, I'm glad we care about the timeline in this movie a little bit, because there are some other things we don't care about so much, like whether it makes sense. And he reads, and it says, I also want to give it credit for that handwriting on it being believable old lady block printing.
Yeah.
I have seen too many movies, and they're mostly big fucking budget movies, where you see a man writing a note and then they cut to the note and it was so clearly written by a 21-year-old woman property assistant, and it's like, I'm not going to say that all men and all women write differently, but Evan, they write pretty differently. So I have noticed, and I think it's because they all went to the same school, that Joan and her two best friends all have the exact same handwriting. It's strange.
That's funny.
Anyway, yes, priest gets this thing and he says, hey, Annika, you've got to read this prayer and tell Satan how much you love it. And you really do have to love it, because, and this is not something they just bring up right there and then. There's a whole theme running throughout the movie that you have to love evil the same way you love good. Otherwise, what kind of, good religious person are you if you don't love all?
Yeah,
and I have
loving is what will vanquish the evil.
Yeah. But I don't, and she does vanquish Satan, although it's not clear that Satan is perma-vanished, because then, and it's just weird because it shows Annika holding her mother, and then it cuts to black, and then you hear, not in Annika's voice, I don't think, the same thing that the grandmother always used to say to mom, which is, you belong to me and only to me, or something like that. It just is like some other person's voice.
You are mine and mine alone, or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't really see how this is. I don't get
You're
it.
mine and no one else's. That's what I wrote down.
You're mine and no one else's. Which is, that's an interesting thing to say to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a little weird, this movie, and not good weird. Because it also does some things that movies like this do, like the taunting satanic figure, which is straight out of The Exorcist, and maybe out of other movies too. I don't know, but when I say other movies, I mean other movies before The Exorcist. And it doesn't have a good, creepy, what the fuck was that moment, like in The Omen, when the nun says, it's all for you, Damien, and then hangs herself at that birthday party. Nothing like
the
that.
Babysitter or the nanny or whatever.
Nanny, okay. That's still one of the most creepy things I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this movie doesn't have anything remotely creepy like that.
Yeah. I mean, the siblings don't get killed by Satan, which I sort of would have appreciated, but it's sort of like the Max Cady thing. Satan tricks them into killing each other because they all go for the same gun, and the wimpy drug addict youngest brother ends up shooting his brother in the face and his sister in the throat. And I actually kind of felt bad for the sister when she was dying, because I was like, this is some pretty good death acting, actually.
Yeah.
And Annika, of course, tries to save her, but it doesn't work because she's bleeding out. And then the younger brother puts the gun to his chin and blows the top of his head off, which is not an effective way to do that, just in case,
Yeah.
No advocating. But yeah. And so then Annika's left like looking for Satan, who turns out is the gargoyle from the church, but just like life size. And I actually found the creature work, because it's so obscured by the fire and the flames and all that stuff.
Right.
Actually pretty effective.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
creepy.
spent some money in the right spots with that sort of thing. Also should mention there is practical blood in this movie. Always appreciate that. But this is kind of a whiff. I mean, it's not a total miss for me. I mean, it sounds like it's a total miss for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm sorry. I think top to bottom, this movie is just like it's murky. It doesn't have a good like mythology. It's boring. It's slow. I find the characters uninteresting. The acting is not particularly good. There's just like the choices in the screenplay to be like, we're gonna call them mother and father and grandmother so fucking stiff. And I found it just irritating that there's a character named Therese that I just have to hear the name Therese over and over again.
I know. Can you at least make it Teresa, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I normally really like Sheila McCarthy, the actress who plays the mother, because she's been in some good things. Like she's been in like Women Talking, and I've seen her in some other things. Like I think she's in that movie Anything for Jackson, which is a really fucking good horror movie.
Oh my God. That is a crazy, super creepy horror movie.
Yeah. And she barely has anything to do here.
Yeah. And yeah, God, she's been in a billion movies. Because that's the thing. It's like whenever she pops up on the screen, I'm like, where do I know her from? And then I start like remember 16 movies I've seen her in. Yeah, I think that there are some unfortunate choices here. The taunting Satan and the way in which Sheila McCarthy kind of plays that.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you're Satan and you're threatening people, how do you do it if you don't taunt? I mean,
beats me.
Maybe I should write a Satan possession movie, and then I could invent my own way. Anyway, yeah, I can't say that I loved the acting in this. I thought the younger brother was passable. I thought Therese was passable. Thought Mark O'Brien was good, but he'd better be. He wrote and directed it. I didn't think Annika was very good, and I thought grandmother was fine. It's just that this is such a strange mishmash of religious imagery and sort of homage to The Exorcist, kinda, but not really.
Yeah.
And trying to be sort of a unique religious story. And, you know, the whole idea of generational trauma is like a real thing. So I appreciate that. Although there are other movies that have done that more recently and better. Not more recently, recently and better. None, of course, are coming to me while I'm sitting here.
Yeah. There was also the whole there was like the weird internal like body shots that were in the movie. You know the ones I'm talking about where like,
I do.
You're looking at like the inside of someone's body and like what's happening. And I'm like, what is the point of this? Why are we not explaining what's going on with that at all? Like,
you know what, I kept
entirely disconnected from everything else going on.
You know what I kept thinking of when that stuff would happen is in Gus Van Sant's remake of Psycho, how before Norman does some things, there's like a bunch of TV images that play like of all the things that he's watched or something like that. And, you know, if it's a shot for shot remake, why is that in there? And if it's a shot for shot remake, don't do that. But that was 25 years ago. So, yeah, this is it's not great. Not a great movie.
No. Yeah, it's a bummer because I was like, okay, you know, I always want to support indie movies and indie horror movies, especially, and there can be some real gems that are on Shudder.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, Mark O'Brien,
the one about the boy with Sheila McCarthy that you just mentioned.
Anything for Jackson.
Yes,
yeah. And I'm like, oh, Mark O'Brien. Yeah, I've seen him in things. Like I remember him in *Halt and Catch Fire*, and you know, like you, *Ready or Not*. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, interesting. Let's see this. And it's just a mixed up bag of different horror movie tropes that don't at all come together in any compelling way.
Yeah, and I do wonder if some of this is strictly budgetary, you know, like The Conjuring didn't cost a lot of money, but it cost, I don't know, $15-20 million, which is a decent chunk of money. You know, and I'm wondering if this movie had, say, $6 million, what would it be like then? you know?
Yeah.
And if it's just a money thing or what, because there are real people in this. I mean, Sheila McCarthy's a real actor. I've seen the sibling, the other twin who plays your favorite name, Therese. I've seen her before. I've seen the younger brother before. I've never seen that I can remember Annika. She might be in stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's too bad. Too bad. Not very scary either.
Yeah.
You know what this movie needed, though? You remember Deadly Friend, the Wes Craven movie? Was it Deadly Friend? Deadly Blessing. We watched that for the one with Sharon Stone, where it's like some other character is supposed to be the main character, but Sharon Stone's on screen almost as much as that character.
Oh, yeah. That fucking movie. Oh, my God. I forgot we watched that.
That weird movie, which is supposed to be all about this, somebody with the religious whatever, and Ernest Borgnine leads the thing, and you think the whole thing's going to be this weird religious movie, but it turns out it's just this mom and her trans daughter or trans son, I don't remember, like killing everybody who ever made fun of the trans kid who is now an adult. Yeah. And then out of nowhere in this movie, where they have not mentioned demons or apparitions or anything like that, the main character's husband shows up as a ghost in the last 30 seconds and is like, I'm sorry, I tried to warn you. And then like some demon like sucks her into the, that this movie needed that. Just a moment for me to go like, what the fuck, dude? That I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to forget this pretty soon.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Such is life. Such is life. Do you have anything you want to add on?
No, I think I'm talked out.
Yeah, I think this is a pass, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Although if you have AMC Plus, it comes out in AMC Plus today, so
yeah, AMC Plus or Shudder, it's like right there, easy enough.
Yeah. Now that being said, do yourself a favor instead and watch Anything for Jackson. That is super creepy and sad too, because Jackson was just a little dude. Yeah. Anyway, so my name's Dave Riedel. No, wait, I don't do the name first. I do the stuff first. You think I hadn't done this show for 12 years. So we don't recommend that. You can get Spoiler Piece anywhere you get your podcasts. Our wonderful editor is Otto Klammer. Otto, thank you for being our, as I said 2 seconds ago, wonderful editor.
Thanks, Otto.
Our website is spoilerpiece.com. On social media, we're Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook, and we're at Spoiler Piece on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I was going to say Shudder, but that's a streaming service. Twitter and whatever else. If you'd like to email us, get in touch, tell us what you thought about this movie. That's spoilerpiece@gmail.com. If you like the show, please consider rating and reviewing us. You can do that at ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece, or you can rate us directly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon. As I mentioned at the top, we talked about the 1962 Cape Fear starring Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum. And it was a fun conversation and a fun movie to watch. And check that out. My name is Dave Riedel. I used to write about movies, but now I talk about them. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. And if you want to follow me on social media, I'm Dave Sees Movies on Twitter. Nope. I'm Dave Sees Movies on Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Threads, and I'm X Can Suck a Dick on Twitter.
Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. My name is Evan Crean. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's a Pictures podcast. You can follow me on social media as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.